Die Schwere Panzerabteilung or Heavy Tank Battalion 501st was the second unit to receive and use Tiger I heavy tanks. From November of 1942 until May of 1943, it fought and finally surrendered in Tunisia. On the 9th of September 1943, the 501st was reformed from the few remnants of the old battalion, including several wounded tank crewmen who had been evacuated to Europe. By October, it comprised 45 Tiger I tanks, 3 companies of 14 tanks, plus 3 tanks from the battalion command. In December, the battalion was transferred to the Vitebsk region in the Soviet Union. In the next 5 days, the battalion destroyed 81 enemy tanks, but by the end of December, only 16 Tigers were operational. The next major engagement of the battalion was the Soviet Operation Bagration in the summer of 1944. The battalion lost the large majority of its Tiger I tanks after this battle. But by early August of 1944, the battalion attained full strength again with 45 new Tiger II heavy tanks. On the 11th of August, the battalion was attached to the 16th Panzer Division, and the tanks of the battalion attacked the Soviet bridgehead over the Vistula River. But on the road to Oglendow, 3 Tiger II tanks were ambushed, and over the next 2 days, the battalion took heavy casualties. On the 11th of August, units of the Soviet 6th Guards Tank Corps of the 3rd Guards Tank Army took defensive positions on the outskirts of the towns of Oglendow, which were taken earlier that day. Sandy soil made it difficult to dig the tanks in to their full height because of the sides of the trenches kept collapsing. The same sandy soil caused problems for the German tankers as well. On the 12th of August, the commander of the Soviet forces came to the conclusion that the Germans would not continue their direct attack across the open sandy fields, and that they would try to outflank the Soviet unit. So therefore, they reinforced their flanks. The dirt road provided good access to the Soviet positions and drew the Germans' attention. To prevent the enemy from using this passage, the Soviet brigade commander decided to set up an ambush from an unnamed hill with 2 T-34 tanks. The battalion's remaining tanks were at the main defensive position 1 kilometer from Oglendow. The initial speculations about the German plan were confirmed by reconnaissance reports as well. On the 11th of August, after losing 2 days to repair and resupply, the German tank battalion moved 2 kilometers further and reached Slido. Breakdowns continued, and at the end of the day, only 11 King Tigers were intact and ready to commence the attack. The morning of the 13th of August was very foggy. At 7 a.m., the Soviet commander reported hearing a number of tanks approaching. These were 11 of the brand new Tiger II tanks. They were accompanied by several APCs with infantry. By the end of the day, the 53rd Battalion occupied the south side of height 247.9, 300 meters eastwards of Oglendow. Among the houses of the village stood more Tiger II tanks that retreated when the German attack finally failed and were abandoned by their crews. Only then did the Soviets realize that they were dealing with a brand new type of German tank. The Soviet commander described the events after the battle the following: 2 hours later, relative silence stood over the battlefield. Scouts reported that there are 2 undamaged tanks closer to Oglendow. They were stuck in the sand at the turn. On our left flank, we found another tank. It drove into a swampy pool and was simply left there. The crew was in such a hurry to leave that they forgot their documents. So after this battle, 7 Tiger II tanks were irreparably destroyed and 6 were captured by the Red Army intact or mostly intact. One was a company commander's vehicle with maps and instruction manuals for the new German tank. So the new secret weapon, the new German super tank, fall in the hands of the Red Army intact with all of its secrets. I hope you enjoyed this episode, and to make sure you don't miss my future work, please make sure you are subscribed to my channel and press the bell notification button. Thank you and see you in the next video.